When I'm asked to come speak to younger people, particularly the college age demographic, about red flags to be aware of in order to stay safe when dating and entering a relationship, I often talk about the technique of love bombing. And with the world of technology that we live in, so often connection with others is being made online. Many are engaging in dating apps. And often, those on dating apps are looking for love. They're looking for connection. They're not looking to be victimized or become a crime victim. But unfortunately, there are predators on these sites that, spend 20 plus hours a day hunting for victims, studying victims for financial gain or, different types of romance scams. So it's so important to recognize red flags early on in any dating setting because you don't know exactly who you're interacting with. Anyone can put their best foot forward online, but they could have a different name than what they're providing you. They could have a different occupation or lifestyle or history than what they're sharing with you. So it's important to really be alert. And love bombing is so dangerous because it feels so good to the recipient. These abusers, one of the tactics is they will very early on shower their victim with so much attention, validation, praise. There'll be flowers, they'll be wanting to spend every waking minute talking to you or spending time with you. They're going to put you on a pedestal and just make you feel so good. And that can be dangerous because that's what all women want, right? We want to be treated, like a queen. But at the same time, there's going to be an excessive amount of this. So it's important to really watch for that and to not be distracted by the whirlwind romance, because that's exactly what they want. They want to distract you from their negative behaviors, from you being aware of things that might be kind of off, any clues of deception, because you're so wrapped up in like, wow, he makes me feel so good. And what's so dangerous is a lot of these behaviors can be in healthy romances. Healthy romances can move fast too. There can be a whirlwind romance that's healthy and loving. So it's very important to really pause and think, is there anything that I'm missing? Is there anything that I'm overlooking because I'm so wrapped up in how good this new, exciting romance feels and how much attention they're showering me with? And some signs, some red flags of love bombing techniques is that there is going to be an excessiveness of this. There's going to be what's called future faking, where very early on, maybe within a matter of days of talking to someone, they're going to be talking about how excited they are for you to meet their family. They'll be talking about, spending holidays together, going on a trip together. They may even show you, an engagement ring they're considering within a very short period of time. So this could be a red flag to be aware of. Another thing to be aware of is there's going to be a lack of boundaries. They're not going to respect any kind of personal space. If you need time to yourself, or, they're not going to be understanding that you can't reply to 40 text messages during the day while you're working. They're going to expect you, if you're at the gym, to jump off the equipment because they want to talk to you. That you should stop everything you're doing and make yourself available at any moment for them. They're going to be really jealous and question if you spend time with friends or family. They're going to really want you all to themselves. Another thing to be aware of is they're going to be very inquisitive. And obviously, when you're dating someone, getting to know them and asking questions is a large part, of getting to know another person. But they're going to be inquisitive in a way that's studying you. They're going to ask questions that may seem a little too personal early on. They're going to portray themselves as being vulnerable with you, or say things like, I trust you like I've never trusted anyone else. I feel like I can tell you anything. They're going to say these things to get you to let your guard down so that you'll share things with them that they can later use to manipulate or exploit or to gather information on you. And sometimes these romance scammers will take your personal information and be researching you behind the scenes. You know, they'll utilize family history websites to see who you're related to. Do you have, you know, a rich uncle? Do you have grandparents that are wealthy that you're, you know, destined to receive an inheritance from? They'll look up and see your resume on LinkedIn. You know, do you have good earning potential? They may look up what kind of car is registered in your name. What kind of lifestyle do you live? What kind of vehicle do you drive? What kind of home do you live in? And these aren't normal things that somebody who wants to get to know you on a personal level is going to be interested in. A romance scammer is going to be interested in this information. So it's important to not get distracted by the, wow, he's so inquisitive and really wants to get to know me, to what questions is he asking? What is he wanting to know about me? You know, is he really trying to build a foundation and take his time to understand who you are as a person? Or is it real quick and inquisitive and almost prying into your personal space? There is a pattern with these abusers. The first stage of the cycle is idealization. So they're going to place you on a pedestal, make you feel so good, adore you, you know, shower you with love and affection. And then they're slowly going to devalue you. And it will be subtle at first. There'll be a slow picking apart of your self-esteem. So they may start by criticizing what you wear or your physical appearance. And they're slowly going to chisel away your self-worth so that you get to the point where you believe that only they can make you feel good. They're the only one that's going to want you. And when you get to the end stage of devaluing, they're actually going to say that to you, that no one else is going to want you but me, and make you believe that you're, you know, no good and that they're the only one that would tolerate you or want you. After the devaluation stage, they're going to discard you. So suddenly out of nowhere, you're going to be ghosted and they're going to just stop talking to you. There's going to be no closure. They're going to disappear and you're going to be left going, what happened? Was that real? Did I do something wrong? There could be self-blame. You're going to be left just utterly confused. How can someone go from making me feel so good, so wanted, to completely invisible? And that can, you know, certainly take an emotional toll and leave a victim vulnerable for the next stage, which is hoovering, which is when the abuser will suddenly, out of nowhere, resurface and pop back up. But they'll only pop back up to offer breadcrumbs of what they once offered before. So there won't be the attention and the love that they once provided in the beginning of the relationship. They'll just expect the same that you once gave from you, but they're not going to offer much to you. And there's a likelihood, you know, that they're involved in other relationships that they're keeping from you. They may even have a family. And a lot of these romance scammers tend to have a long-term partner that they work alongside with to strategize. And really, they're only getting close to their victim to gather information. You know, they may exploit the victim, record them without their knowledge or consent, you know, get their personal information to steal their identity and commit financial crimes against them. And that's why they disappear, is because they've gotten what they need to commit those crimes. Some of the more deviant romance scamming crimes can involve STD scams. So a predator who has had a long time incurable disease will target victims and try to spread the disease to them so that they can turn around and blame the victim. You know, a victim who may or may not have even been consensual in intimacy. The predator will suddenly be trying to sue and get financial gain, claiming that they got an STD from this victim. and this poor victim, is left defending themselves why this predator has already knowingly been spreading this disease to many others. And he may be doing it also to isolate victims so that they think that he's the only person they can be with. And so he can have several of these women on the side that, will accept little to nothing from him as far as effort is concerned, because he's now given them a disease, and so they feel like they can only be with them. Another scam is life insurance scams. So the predator will take the victim's personal information and take out a life insurance policy on them, and they've already isolated the victim from friends and family and support. So it's easier to do harm and to make a victim in that state disappear, so that they can profit off of them. So it's really important to be aware of the red flag of isolation. If they're getting jealous of you having personal boundaries and wanting to have time to yourself or time with friends and family, if they're not respecting, your efforts to grow in your career, or that you might just want, a night to yourself, that you can't always drop what you're doing to be available for them, or to respond to 100 texts a day. These are all red flags. So I would just really encourage those who are in the scary world of dating and dating apps to look up terms like love bombing, future faking. Be familiar with the red flags early on, and don't allow yourself to get wrapped up in the distractions of the love bombing, because that's exactly what they want. They want you to very quickly let your guard down, open up, to be very sharing and vulnerable. And in a healthy relationship, these are things that should be present, that we want to be present. So it's so important to be able to decipher between the two so that you can stay safe and don't end up a victim of one of these scammers.